Good morning. Barry Bryson here. Thank you for joining me for another 5 good minutes with the Word. We're continuing our study of 1 Peter, and we're in chapter 2, and we're going to read verses 9 through 12. But you are a chosen race, a royal priesthood, a holy nation, a people of God's own possession, that you may proclaim the excellencies of him who has called you out of darkness into his marvelous light. For you were once not a people, but now you are the people of God. Once you had not received mercy, but now you have received mercy. Beloved, I urge you as aliens and strangers to abstain from fleshly lusts which wage war against the soul. Keep your behavior excellent among the Gentiles, so that in the thing in which they slander you as evildoers, they may, on account of your good deeds as they observe them, glorify God on the day of visitation. There's so much here in these verses, and I probably should do 9 and 10 and then 11 and 12, but I don't want us to get so deep into the passage that we miss the train of thought, that we forget the themes. He's already introduced Christians as spiritual Israel and calling us the diaspora in the very first verse. And he's going to return to that theme and establish it in comparing and contrasting us to the Jews who rejected Jesus. And that's in the verses we looked at last time, who rejected Jesus as the cornerstone. But God has chosen him to be the cornerstone, and through him is building a temple through us, with us, living stones. And he says, but you are a chosen race. We Christians are the chosen race. We are the royal priesthood. Every word here is taken from Isaiah 61, and every word here is significant. A chosen race. We are the people of God. Royal priesthood. Who is simultaneously priest and king in the Old Testament? Melchizedek. Jesus is a priest after the order of Melchizedek in Hebrews chapter 5. And we also are a royal priesthood because of Jesus. A holy nation, a people of God's own possession. We're the chosen people. We're the special people of God, so that you may proclaim the excellencies of him who has called you out of darkness into his marvelous light. The purpose of this is not to be exclusive, but to be inclusive, to let everybody know the truth so that they can come to the light and accept the truth themselves. And then he takes us from the prophet Isaiah to the prophet Hosea. You once were not a people, and you once had not received mercy, but now you are the very people of God. Now you have received mercy. Remember, Hosea had to go marry a prostitute and have children by the prostitute, and one of them was named Not My People, and one was named No Mercy, Lo Ruhamah and Lo Ami. Lo Ami, not my people, Lo Ruhamah, not no mercy. But then God said, go marry her again. And so now these children, now they are a people. Now they do receive mercy. And so it calls so much to mind the fact that when the children of Israel were not faithful to their covenant, they were rejected and sent into Babylonian captivity. Now we have the new covenant. We have to be faithful to that covenant because now we are the people of God. Now we have received mercy. And then, verses 11 and 12, I urge you as aliens and strangers. Again, you reside as aliens, the very first verse. You don't belong here. So since that's true, you have to be pure. You have to be obedient. You have to abstain from fleshly lusts which wage war against the soul. I mean, he's talked about that earlier in this chapter. You have to be holy as God is holy. And then listen to this. Keep your behavior excellent among the Gentiles. Who's a Gentile? He's writing to people who live in Turkey, not Palestine. Who are the Gentiles? Everyone who's not a Christian. Therefore, who is the true Israel? Everyone who is a Christian. Keep your behavior excellent among the Gentiles, so that in the thing in which they slander you as evildoers, they may, on account of your good deeds, as they observe them, glorify God in the day of visitation. Do we not hear the Sermon on the Mount? Let your light so shine before men, that they may see your good deeds and glorify your Father who is in heaven. This is the Beatitudes. This is the Sermon on the Mount applied to the moment of persecution that they are in. And it worked. I mean, it really did to a great degree. It worked in a variety of ways. It worked because people became Christians, and exponentially so. So that by the time Christianity is legalized, half or perhaps even a small majority of people who lived in the empire were Christians. It worked because of Hadrian's Rescript, because an emperor 150 years or more before Christianity is even legalized could tell that Christians were law-abiding citizens, and would codify that with a decree saying, unless they commit crimes, leave them alone. I mean, people observed the goodness of Christians and the faith of Christians, and it had its effect in a variety of ways. Just as Jesus said it would, just as Peter reminds us it will. What is the day of visitation? Is it the coming of the Lord? Is it the day of persecution? Is it the day that we are scrutinized? What is it? And I believe the answer is yes to all the above. Okay. Reminds me of the day that the Hebrew writer talks about in Hebrews chapter 10, beginning with verse 25. We have to encourage one another, provoke one another to love and good deeds by worshiping together as we see the day approaching. Is that Sunday, the day of trial, the day of the Lord's coming? Yes, because it's true about all of that. Okay, we're going to be looking at verses 13 through 17 next time. Thank you so much for joining me for another 5 good minutes with the Word.